to include in a deck, maybe one or two of, just as a great option against Applejack control or Applejack villain farming. And we've seen a lot of AJ villain farming so far at Everfree, and a lot less of Pile than we were expecting.
Right.
What sort of cards do you think could have a stronger place in the meta that maybe are a little underrepresented right now?
Do you mean the meta at large, or the meta that was at this particular tournament?
I mean the meta at large. There's no way to predict for an individual event.
Fair enough, fair enough. That are underutilized. Stack of Suitcases, I think, is still actually very, very powerful. Then, I'm a big fan of Cleaning Up, and I don't think very many people use that. I'm also a huge fan of F-Stop, and I only know of 3 people besides myself who use that, and one of them is Ponka, who switched to that simply because of the rules change.
Right. We ran a 1 or 2 copies in the wall when that was around, but of course that was back before the days of bulk bans, so...
Right. Like, F-Stop is, in my opinion, the single most powerful 1-power friend in the game.
Sure, I don't think that's even contested.
But he's just not used very frequently. I think if you are in white and you have several events, you should consider it, unless you're going for a pure aggro strategy.
I don't know. There is Gyro. Gyro has a pretty strong case here, too.
Gyro tutors up the one thing you need. F-Stop tutors it up repeatedly.
Until your opponent pulls it out of your discard pile.
Correct.
True. And I mean, the downside with Gyro is, you know, he does tutor for let's get this party started, and then you just lose.
Yeah, but yeah, Gyro is very powerful as well.
Brutal.
It is.
Let's see, what else?
If I could chime in, I actually think that, especially in decks that are going to be using Rarity Truly Outrageous, who is an inefficiently costed friend, along with a few other aggro strategies, I think Steady Session still has a strong place in the meta.
Yeah, Study Session is pretty reasonable.
It was a powerhouse of a card in Crystal Games, and saw some good play in Mod Purple through Continentals last year.
Yes.
It's also, in addition to being helpful for dealing with Bluna, can be strong for shutting down a carbo loader for a necessary turn.
Also, I've actually got a rather an interesting one. The Rarity Troublemaker, Rarity Hoarder, is actually pretty potent. Even at only a 4 power, if you can protect her long enough, she can just rack up the resources as an inverse Yellow Parasprite. I prefer Yellow Parasprite because you get that benefit immediately no matter what. But if I had the room for both, I would run both. If I thought that I didn't need high flips in my deck, probably because I was playing purple. I prefer Armosby as well, but she is a very strong consideration in my opinion. On a similar track, I just lost it. There was a... Oh, right. The Flutterhulk. I think Flutterhulk is very, very strong card in yellow. It's one of the... It is probably the only way... No, it's not the only way, but it's one of the only ways of getting rid of a Troublemaker in the middle of a Troublemaker face-off, which is rather relevant. The thing with her, though, is that she plays towards a very specific style that not very many people consider.
Right.
People don't consider yellow Troublemaker-heavy decks.
This is true. And the other issue we're running into is while she is currently one of the few immediate methods of dealing with opposing Troublemakers and getting them gone, we do have Cracking the Case, coming in set 7. And while yellow, of course, is growing in strength with the set 7 rules change, along with some of the cards that they're getting, white is still very, very powerful. And so I would
absolutely.
expect that to actually be favored.
So now this is going back a little bit, but I am still actually a fan of the pumped photo finish. I think the pumped photo finish is actually a rather reasonable way of removing things repeatedly. Yes, pumped is a little bit vulnerable to the frighten effects that have been going around and the portals and all that stuff, but then they're using that on a photo finish that is not doing anything on her own. But combined with showdowns, your fashion weeks, and some other showdown, you can get some rather solid value out of her. I haven't touched the deck for a while, but I could see a Stopping Corn-esque deck coming back and just interfering with some decks.
Well, you are leveraging some cards that have been proven to be very powerful, and combining F-Stop with Popping Corn is still strong.
Yeah, I loved that deck. It was hilarious. I did not expect to win the regionals with that deck. I just wanted to play a deck that I thought was fun and not a meta deck, and it wound up doing exceptionally well. I mean, clearly, if it won the tournament and I thought I was playing just for fun, not to win, it must have done something right.
Yeah, but again, regionals is one of those things where every local meta is going to be different, and there's no guarantee that's going to have a strong national presence.
Yeah, and this was, again, last year, so I haven't updated the deck for quite a while. That being said, all of the original CN showdowns, the single target ones, are all still very powerful zero-cost cards.
They are. They're also a little misunderstood right now, and they're in an odd place.
How do you mean?
Well, there's some current discussion going on in the rules group as to how they actually function. Because many of those showdowns, according to the current version of the comprehensive rules that we have actually been played wrong for the last 2 years.
Oh dear, okay.
So we're gonna
what have we done wrong?
So we're gonna get into this here, and this is gonna be a little heavy. So there is a current section of the comprehensive rules that states that characters that are involved in face-offs, or cards that are involved in face-offs, are not flagged as being involved in that face-off.
Correct.
They can become involved and cease being involved as they continue to meet or fail to meet the conditions that started or qualify them for that face-off to begin with.
Yes.
Okay?
With you so far.
Okay. The original showdowns from
Canterlot Knights.
From Canterlot Knights, thank you. Have you choose one of your friends that has power less than, or I'm sorry, have you choose an opposing friend with power greater than or equal to your friend's power. So you can't bully your opponent by choosing a very high power friend that you have and then your opponent.
You have to have equal or unfavorable odds on paper.
Right, exactly. And oftentimes, what you'd end up seeing were people somehow boosting their friend's power in the middle of a face-off or things along those lines in order...
or using a competitive friend, or yes.
Right, something like that. The issue with this is as soon as your friend's power exceeds that of your opponent's friend is no longer a friend that has power equal to or greater than your friend. And therefore, your opponent's friend, since that is the one that you are choosing, is no longer a viable friend to be involved in that face-off, and should technically cease to be involved.
Okay.
However, that friend still exists.
Right.
So, what this means is cards like Rock, Paper, Scissors, Shoot, when utilized with your own competitive friend, according to the current version of the comprehensive rules, state that while you can choose that friend at the beginning, as soon as your friend exceeds the opposing friend's power, the opposing friend ceases to be involved in the face-off, but can still be dismissed.
Exists and still be... Oh, that is brutal.
So
these are all just slightly better than expected.
Not just slightly. There's a few big issues here. Because now all of a sudden, we've got ways to bully people with Fashion Week. Now we've got ways to guarantee AT gain through Magic Duel. Now we've got ways by using Nightmare Moon Blackest Night in Equestrian Odysseys in conjunction with Halfway Across Equestria to move a friend away from a location which was one of the requirements for that friend being involved to begin with.
Oh dear.
And so
Okay.
the question becomes then, well, obviously it was intended that these friends still remain involved in the face-off and that they don't just fall
Right.
off with that. You know, that rule was more put in place for problem face-offs and troublemaker face-offs as friends are moved here and there. But there become a number of face-offs that have other qualifying conditions.
So they do not. So basically, the fix here is cards are not flagged unless specifically called out.
No, even that's not really necessarily the fix, because we'd still like to be able to alter things somehow. So the fix is still
Right,
in the
'cause,
the fix is still in the works.
You have the just-in-time Dr. Hooves who adds himself to a face-off and works with those the single target showdowns.
Right.
So,
So that one it's a little bit interesting. Do you have video of games on your stream yet? I'm just checking.
No, there's nothing going on. I hear chatter, so there's still stuff going on.
Okay.
But we do have 45-minute rounds instead of 30-minute rounds.
Ah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Checking in from the floor.
Yes.
We took care of top 8. We are letting some of the top 4 players finish eating and such. So we will get that underway in the next 5-10 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay. And do we know who is playing against Skitter?
Yes. Let's see. We have Ariana versus Skitter, and
So Skitter and Feathers, okay.
And Prime Cover versus Dark Jester, or Prime Color, excuse me, versus Dark Jester.
So
okay, so
back to what we were discussing
earlier. The only upset
earlier.
was Seed 8 versus Seed 1. Everyone else, the higher Seed 1.
Okay. Got it. So then we'll be seeing that's going to be Mono Purple playing Skitters then?
No, it will be Feathers versus Skitter.
Feathers versus Skitter.
Prime Color versus Dark Jester.
Okay, got it. So back to what we were discussing earlier here. So the issue with this is there's certain types of face-offs that obviously we'd like friends to remain involved in, and there's other types where we'd like things to be changed over time. As different modifiers come into play and as friends are moved or are boosted or whatever it needs to be. And the way that showdowns work now has been relatively intuitive for players. So we don't want to cause this odd situation where all of a sudden all these cards work completely differently than they've been understood to for the last 2 years.
Right.
But it is...
Wizards was in a similar situation a while ago when they realized their tap or untap a thing didn't work the way they expected it to, or the way that players expected it to, rather.
Right. So it's just an interesting situation to be in and something to be aware of that you may want to be looking for in the next comprehensive rules update or one coming sometime thereafter.
So, with any luck, honestly, I'm obviously a huge fan of the showdowns. I made Stopping Corn, and I helped make One Pace, which used judicious usage of showdowns. So it'll be interesting to see where they come or where they fall in the future. I am, some of my favorite cards getting used again is something that I would love to see. Maybe I can use my Heart's Desires, my playset of promo Heart's Desires in something. I really, really want to use these Heart's Desires in something.
So now what you need to do is just build an entire deck that's full of cards that you play in non-intuitive ways. So your whole deck your whole deck is showdowns using competitive friends or power boosting to cause the opposing friend to no longer be involved. And Burst of Speed being played at the timing window at the end of a face-off where you don't lose the action tokens.
And Solar Wind exhausting to gain an action token off of himself.
Right. And
Derpy doing the same thing. And
right, Derpy doing the same thing. Playing a yoink during a face-off when your opponent doesn't have any friends that meet that requirement.
Just playing Yoink for no reason?
Playing yoink because you've got Raven to boost your unicorn tribal.
Oh, okay. Man, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to use Nothing to Be Afraid of.
I mean, that's fair. There's all kinds of options you can use. Let's actually not build this deck because this sounds terrible. Let's actually play this game like it was intended to be played. What do you say?
I'm a combo player. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hush you.
I don't know how to confront problems.
And we're back with Pokemon sleeves.
Yep. So, who do you favor in this matchup?
So this is Feathers versus Skitter?
Right.
Feathers' deck is so consistent, but it does have a lot of friends, which means it is subject to some of the removal that Skitter is playing. I don't know. I think it's going to be close.
On the other hand, Feathers has a ton of villains to fight. And I think...
Well, Feathers actually only has 9 villains to fight. 6 of her troublemakers are not villains.
Mm-hmm. No, she has 12 villains to fight. She's running 18 troublemakers.
Oh, is she running 18? I thought she was only running 15.
No, she's running 18 troublemakers.
Oh, that's right. She's running the Trixies as well.
Yeah. And I think the strategy for Feathers here is to play as few friends as possible, knowing that Skitter won't be able to use face-offs. Skitter won't be able to, the showdowns. Sorry, Skitter won't be able to use the showdowns. The party of ones become dead. All of the removal becomes dead. Most of Skitter's strategy revolves around the opponent playing friends. So if Feathers just says, I'm going to fight this troublemaker, I'm going to fight this troublemaker, I'm going to play this popping corn, I'm going to fight this troublemaker, I think she can just win that way. Maybe if she has a Deep Darkness in her opening hand, on the other hand, she had better play that.
That is very true. And she does have Deep Darkness, and this is one of the few matches where she's going to get a lot of value out of it.
Yes.
Especially if it comes down early.
So I think that opening hand, unless it is godly, despite not having a Deep Darkness, you have to pitch it if it does not have Deep Darkness.
You think so?
Yeah. I think you fish for the Deep Darkness unless that hand is amazing. Like if she had... Now, if her hand was Starlight Glimmer and 5 villains, I would keep that hand.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, she is going to need a light friend, or a friend light hand, if she wants to hope to have a favorable matchup here.
Yes.
And the way she's built her deck, while she does have a good number of friends that are present in the deck, none of them are actually crucial to her deck winning.
Right.
The biggest thing she might be worried about is landing multiple carbo loaders on the field and having them subject to a party of 1.
Right.
So she's really going to need to be careful and judicious with that use. If I were her, I probably wouldn't ever let more than 1 hit the field at a time.
No, neither would I.
Someone pulls ahead.
So that's a Fashion Week and a Rolling Tones and
Dressed
a Cleaning Up and a Dressed Up. Not the hand that I want to see against a villain farming deck.
Nope.
Meanwhile, Feathers had at least 1 villain and a carbo loader.
Feathers seem
They
relatively
both kept.
Maybe we missed some of the early cards for Skitter. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's just banking on no Deep Darkness. And, well, there's double trouble.
There's double trouble. Mm-hmm.
If any deck in this tournament was going to do that, it was going to be Feathers.
Yes. 18 troublemakers is a fair number.
Yeah, and he's making the right call here, just flipping as soon as he possibly
Oh no,
can.
he has to. He knows there are 2 Deep Darknesses. And he also knows that there are no Nightmare Moons.
Right.
Well, there are Nightmare Moon Deep Darknesses,
Right.
but no Nightmare Moon villains.
Right, no Nightmare Moon troublemakers. Discards a cleaning up at the end of turn. That's an interesting call. Maybe he doesn't have white entry. Sombra and Aoizotl.
Maybe. So, now another thing that Feathers has going for her, she does have those 2 copies of Appaloosa, which won't stop the party of 1, but will stop all of the hard removal, or the pink removal, mono pink removal.
Right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, yoink.
Oh, there's that cardboard box.
And Feathers sighs.
And Feathers is not happy. She still challenges, though.
Oh, of course.
With the 2 flips, and she needs to boost her main. She could still win that.
Yeah, especially if she's got the Epiphany in hand. We'll have to see.
She drew a Glimmer. Probably a little upset about that. That's 9, but and that's 10. No, that's 8.
Yep.
That's 8. So she still wins.
She does, but she flips one of the Epiphanies to the bottom.
Yeah.
She does get to, yep, she'll get to boost that. Now, now if I'm Feathers, I actually start challenging troublemakers with some of my harder to remove friends and start moving power from Applejack.
Possibly, yeah. You definitely don't move Applejack from there, though.
No, not this turn. In fact, if I have a colorless friend, I probably just play it.
There's the Deep Darkness.
Yep.
Why didn't she... Maybe she didn't draw the Glimmer, but if she didn't draw the Glimmer, then she would have played it turn 1. Why didn't she play Deep Darkness turn 1?
Maybe she really wanted to set up the troublemakers? I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like
But denying that
might be a
vinyl
misplay.
flip is huge.
Yeah. Maybe she's not concerned about the card draw because she knows it's not a combo deck?
Maybe. So, she is up 3 points.
Hemline's coming down, giving him a white entry.
And dressed up. Okay, so wants that face off.
That's very clever.
Only one flip on Feather's side.
Yeah, I hadn't actually considered the...
Oh!
Oof.
This is the worst possible situation for Feathers.
Yep, another Epiphany gone and Discord coming into play and still the face-off going to Skitter. And what's even worse is he's won a face-off. But his main is not involved, so he's not going to be able to...
No.
Yeah.
No, this is exactly the situation Feathers does not want. And no one has action tokens?
Correct.
So no one loses AT here.
No discards, you mean?
Yes.
Oof, that was rough.
There's a Tyrek.
Now I have to admit I'm a little sad. We see Tyrek top 2 pre-release promos. We see Nightmare Moon Deep Darkness dev promos. We see Carbo Loader regional promos, but no dev promo Aoizotl?
No. So we're at 3 versus 2. Feathers is not in a very good position. That is an incredibly easy problem for Skitter to confront.
Right, but there is an Aoizotl face-up there. Oh, you're talking about Fruit Bat Roundup.
Yeah, Fruit Bat Roundup.
Yeah, he'll only have to move a single character.
That was probably the worst possible problem. Like, I cannot imagine a worse situation for Feathers to be in right now except not having Applejack flipped.
Yep. Yeah, this is especially bad because now not only is DJ flipped, but since he's not really going to be digging for a lot of pieces, he can still use his main to get the extra flip each turn, and that'll just cap him with Deep Darkness.
So played Glimmer and a villain.
Probably,
I think that was Tyrek.
Yeah, it would make sense. Flip the Glimmer first, process that trigger, flip the Tyrek. Or rather, flip the Glimmer, flip the Tyrek, process the trigger.
Right. There's an F-stop on Skitter's end.
He's got a cleaning up in his discard pile. Might be something he would want to get back.
Yeah, but not when he has nothing else in his discard pile.
True. No, at this point, I think. Do you just move Discord up? Still the point?
Looks like he wants to beat Aizodal.
Well,
8
that'll do
versus
it.
5, yeah.
I like the use of dressed up on Prim Hemline. Hadn't really considered it.
Yeah, the coloratura that's been spoiled, with the cutie marking, is basically that combo by herself.
Yeah, for
But she also
substantial
has
more
the one
AT
rec.
investment.
Yeah. Well, it's one more. It's one more AT investment, but it's one fewer card, so it's approximately the same.
I guess that's fair. Well, she becomes a 4/1/5, doesn't she?
So interesting. Do you think would you have moved to Aizodal instead if you were intending on fighting? Unless she's not intending on fighting.
It's tricky with Rockslide not being up there.
Yeah, but I would have gone for the Aizodal and denied him the confront. Oh, okay, she's just playing the Carbo Loader, hoping. So
I mean,
Skitter
this,
has a Rolling Tones in hand, however, so I think this is just going to be immediately dismiss Carbo Loader, challenge Aizodal.
we'll have to see. I actually agree with Feather's play there.
Oh, yoinking, yeah.
I actually agree with Feather's play there regardless, though, because if you lose the face-off against Aoizolba, you're wasting the Glimmer trigger,
Yes.
and you were pretty posed in
And
a
she
position.
didn't have the power, yeah.
Right.
I was thinking maybe she had the third epiphany and we just didn't realize.
Ooh,
So
that's
Discord
actually
goes home.
Yeah, that's actually a win for Feathers, like the f-stop flip.
Yeah.
That's the risk of playing him in the deck.
Well, I mean, when you're going 0 versus 5 in the first place, you're probably not going to win that.
Who, Discord?
Discord is exhausted due to the bailout.
Oh, I'd missed the bailout. What was the discard off of bailout?
Flim and Flam.
Ah, okay.
So, considering that these are 45-minute rounds and Feathers has Carbo Loader, I think I would absolutely be keeping track of my cards, especially knowing that she really wants that epiphany.
That's true. One Carbo Load is already gone now.
Yes, this is true.
Choosing which one to get rid of, she says Aoizolba can go away. I agree with that choice. Moves up, confronts, ties the game.
Make sure you do. All right, all good?
Drawing sees what looks like another bailout.
NB Makiri, I know Feathers personally, and I know she's not transgender.
Play that friend of your home.
Easy to find.
And you said you had Xerneas, right? Jen? You said you had Xerneas, right?
Okay, one.
Yes, I have Xerneas. Well, the shiny Xerneas has Geomancy.
Yeah, but you have that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have not transferred the event Pokemon over yet.
Alright, then I don't need to
Yeah, I have Zygarde and
Thank you, pass. Okay.
Xerneas.
Yep.
You just don't have
Just gonna save some AT, see if she can get into something in a few turns here. That Deep Darkness may be hurting her since she's only running 2 cards in hand right now.
Yes, NB Makiri, I have asked her about that, and there is a story behind that, but she is not transgender.
I prefer no yelling. I prefer no yelling at all.
Grab the small stack there.
For no yelling at all.
Yeah, right.
When our troops don't come back, someone has to help their families move forward.
My family lost so much.
It was a shock.
Anyway, let's focus on what's actually going on in game here. Ooh, an RTO.
Without Special Operations Warrior Foundation, I don't know how we would all...
Popping corn, I'm assuming.
Now through July 31st, a portion of each sale
Oh, no,
is specially
bailout.
marked cherry
Dismissing
extra
the,
strength energy shots.
Or
Benefits the
just...
Special
Ooh, I don't
Operations
think she
Warrior
wanted to
Foundation.
discard the Big Mac there.
No, but
Still doing this though, she gets to frighten the Prim Hemline and the RTO. Ooh, I don't think she wanted to discard the Big Mac there.
no, but
Still. So now she has to challenge here.
oh, did she not challenge?
Yeah, she did not challenge. She paid 1 to draw.
Yeah.
So Applejack went home.
She'll play the carbo loader. That's 2.
Yes.
Your turn.
I was not entertained by that. You didn't even play it. There was nothing I did. Like, I just did nothing. You could have gone into a makeover. No, yes, at the bottom of my deck. Because I flipped it. There was one more, though. You got 3.
I think Discord should be ready by now.
And that's all, usually enough. Because, like, even in this matchup, it would have been enough. But RNG.
I'm sorry, say that about Discord again?
I think, yeah, Discord should be ready. Yes, okay. It had been enough turns since it got bailouted.
Yeah, just when it comes up with trades, just trust me.
Just call my hand. Next hand has one.
So Feathers has managed to regain oh no, that F-stop is going to get back that Rolling Tones. No, that Yoink, my mistake.
Yeah, Yoink will just be a better choice. Because even with the Frightened Friend, that's enough to be able to challenge Alizodal.
Yeah.
The only way I could win was to banish his entry and banish his friend and stall it, allow him not to let me get set up so that he can't do anything. Like, once, because he has so many ways to kill me, but they all involve white. So I can make it so significant as white. That was my win condition.
No, you have to get it.
Is not getting back the Yoink right this moment, though. Opting just to discard a Sapphire Shores. There's a Popping Corn for Feathers.
It might be somewhat helpful. Yeah, move Applejack back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this actually makes sense, because he knows he doesn't need to reveal... Actually, this is quite good. By not activating F-Stop the turn it came down, instead he's forcing Feathers to commit action tokens moving up to Alizodal, and only upon that point is he going to now activate F-Stop on this turn to bring back the Yoink.
I would have just not played the F-Stop in that case, though I guess he just didn't want to discard a card.
Nice.
And my other sparkle that I statted up, same as the other one, awfully long time. So I did like the sand.
Oh, which miracle are you putting first?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, which one are you putting first? Which moves does it need?
Let's see, the one I'm working first is the one that,
Now he's going to get back the Yoink.
Yep.
Now, on the other hand, now Carbo Loader can exhaust immediately. But before Yoink.
Nope.
Oh, never mind.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be able to exhaust before Yoink. The only time when you can do that is after at the second window for the face-off.
Well, I wasn't expecting the Fashion Week. So,
well, I mean, even before the Fashion Week, there's a window at the start of face-off before you can activate extra flip effects.
You can't use Carbo Loader in the first face-off? The first priority window? When did that happen?
It's always been a rule. Any effect that relates to the number of cards that you flip is only usable during the second window.
People have been using that very wrong, then.
Yes, they have.
So that is something that absolutely should have been clarified, because people have been exhausting Carbo Loader in anticipation of Yoink.
That's not how that works.
Exactly because of that interaction. So okay. So if it's okay, that's good to know. I guess it does say additional. So, So Applejack versus Arizona, or is Applejack going home again? Looks like Applejack's going home again.
I guess they only... Well, there's a bit of a technicality. It's a little tricky. We'll have to look into it later.
Okay. So clipped wings, Pinky. Not the f-stop, though. But I think she just needs to deny the point gain.
Yeah, it's still a tie game, is that correct? 3v3?
To my knowledge, yes. This is a case where I think Feathers might have liked her white build, where she has the photo finishes.
This is 3 versus 4 in Skitter's favor.
Ah, okay.
Oh, right, because of the Fashion Week. Correct.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think this is firmly in Skitter's favor right now.
Yeah, and it's really not even anything dramatic that he did. The single cardboard box was obviously a good play. It's more the fact that Feathers has flipped 2 of the 3 epiphanies she's going to need, and the 2 carbo loaders. I guess Skitters has had a good hand in disrupting Feathers' play.
And then I'll switch it out for the next Smirgle.
So basically,
Looking at some of those frightened cards, says, okay, I'm going to get rid of the Prim Hemline to home limit.
Well, I mean, he's got all of the white power he needs off of that Discord.
Mm-hmm.
they just go home. Basically, based off game theory. Or two, depending on.
So what do you do with your Feathers here?
Well, I think Feathers is running 3 of the epiphanies, right?
Right.
Say
I think she needs to dig for either a like draw a card every turn and just try and disrupt Skitter here, but also just she needs an Appaloosa to protect her key friends or that 3rd epiphany.
She really does at this point. With that f-stop now on the field, she knows she can't play another cargo loader.
Right.
She knows there's another f-stop on the bottom of Skitter's deck. If she remembers his deck list, she may remember that he's running 3. Or maybe it's only 2. That one won't matter too much against Applejack, not typically playing a lot of cards in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
But still, even attacks of 1 can be expensive.
Yes. We saw how effective it was against Celine's deck in the finals last time.
That's true.
Yes, I did go.
Admittedly, he had 3.
Right. We also saw why you should not play Queen Chrysalis Identity Theft copying a Pinkie Pie Crystallized.
Yes, that is a bit unfortunate. So there's the Appaloosa.
Okay, so with an Appaloosa in hand, she's now hoping for Carbo Loader if she doesn't already have one.
Well, yes, and she just moved 2 tokens over onto Deep Darkness. So now Skitter cannot get rid of the Deep Darkness without a party of 1.
Right.
Snow's going up for a 4 versus 5.
And he does have the party of 1 in hand right now.
Yes, but would you play it just to get rid of a single Deep Darkness?
Oh, absolutely not. But he won't need to find it when he wants to play it.
Right.
In fact, with f-stop on the field without a clipped wings on it, he can actually pretty safely discard it if he needs to.
Yes, but discarding that will provide that information that he can just get it back with f-stop. Keeping it in his hand, it can be a surprise. So now, if Feathers wins 4v5, and I think that is her best option at this point, she'll pull ahead by 1 point, and then she'll have another villain to fight next turn. Assuming that's not Tyrek, anyway.
Yeah, all those troublemakers definitely coming in handy for Feathers.
Yes.
Ryan? Yeah, Ryan brought them up. But why?
So there's a rock, paper, scissors in hand. That's not going to help very much. And there's a Snips and Snails. That might help a little bit.
It'll help at least get through a few of these problems.
Now, Skitter has a lot of action tokens banked up. If that flips into the other Fruit Bat Roundup, that could be harsh. Oh, he's not exhausting.
Yeah, how do I play this game? I lost in top 8. How do I play this game? Yeah. Do you want to hear what happened? I'll talk away from them because they're really...
I wonder, is he planning on moving up to challenge Aoizotl on the next turn, hoping to gain those points?
Possibly. Oh, there's a damsel.
It looks like he is just going to go ahead and play that damsel. Yep, moves up with Pinky.
So he just wants to confront for a point, though these are about to get frightened here. And Feathers will still be able to challenge 4 versus 5. I'm not sure that was the best play.
Well, by frightening these, he's actually removing the clipped wings from Pinkie Pie Crystallized. Yeah, it's not necessarily the worst play here. If he really wants to get rid of that resource.
Another popping corn to replace the one that she just used up.
It looks like she may have.
So now she is in a position where she could pay 2 to dismiss that Snips and Snails.
The question is if she's going to want to.
Right.
She's
Snips
thinking
and
about
Snails
it.
is a very high priority target. I think I would.
Yep, and she says she does. So Snips is gone.
So now do you challenge 4 versus 5 here?
Banking on all those troublemakers.
She does.
Yeah, she's at a higher flip average.
4 versus
7.
So.
Of course, she says.
Yes.
But that's one Nightmare Moon out of the way.
Right. She only has 1 action token left, though. So she can't challenge next turn.
No, she can't.
We're just having a game.
That kind of just
We are.
that kind of just right there.
Bank one.
Because basically what I did was a horrible move because I misread that, and then I made a bad move following that, and that was like through the game, and I'm like, I can't.
That was a good activation of Sombra there. I would have maybe missed that just because Snips and Snails has that 3 power, but Sombra affects cost.
Well, that's why Feathers wanted to double check. Like, what is the cost of those cards? Now, if only she could have hit that f-stop. So now going ready Pinky, who's going to be ready to fight that with 2 flips.
If you're Skitter, do you move something else up? Oh, you just play another Pinky.
Play another Pinky.
Of course.
Skitter announced the score phase and passes turn. That's Iron Will. I think you play Iron Will here. right? Then it's only 6 versus 5. Now, the downside is she does not have that 4th power to put on Iron Will.
So like, why bother?
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult decision for
And
Feathers to make.
I believe Skitter. Well, yeah, I believe Skitter has a Rolling Tones in hand still. Oh, she can't actually play it. She doesn't have the 4th wreck.
Yeah, that's right. Moving that counter off of Applejack. We've seen that come back to bite a few players so far this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the fence about it before the con. I didn't know if I wanted to go to another con, but I'm like, no, I need more. Wait until I'm here next year. I'm gonna play the tournament at LC as well.
Yeah, looks like Skitter's going to get that Sombra.
Yeah, with 2 additional flips in the face-off plus 1 more base power.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible he flips F-stop and something very low and something very low and Feathers flips her 6s. But no. No, and also no. Doing the math to make sure that putting that Discord into play is the correct call. I'm pretty sure it is.
I'd actually put it into play over at, well, maybe not at Tyrek's problem.
Tyrik would just eat him.
Right.
Like, I might still play him there and then move up something. So now we're at the 4 AT per turn threshold.
Correct, with Feathers having scored 2 from beating the Sombra there.
Skitter got the 2.
I want it to be something no one Now that I've done with that.
Is 4 power. Oh, he does. Yeah. I thought it was 3. I thought his ability was -4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So confirm. Alright.
Yeah, realizing that popping corn does not in fact stop Discord.
Not helping. 300 draw.
Yeah, even without the dressed up on him, Discord's still going to be above that 3 threshold.
And report from the floor, Dark Jester has won his match, so we'll be proceeding to the finals, and we will get to see that. Unless Feathers or Skitter, whoever wins this match, suddenly has a change of heart and does not want to stream. Or there might be a split, yes.
And I got more wrecked than I thought I was going to get wrecked. Like, I didn't know that was possible. Because I knew, like, I was super pessimistic going into it, and somehow it actually made worse. That had no sway in that. I won.
Feathers dropping that troublemaker.
Yeah. So Skitter's at 7 to Feathers is 3, and Feathers is still just in a very bad spot. I'm not sure she can pull out of this at this point. It's possible. We have seen some very, very come from behind victories, but she's just not in a good spot. And I believe he's still, that frightened friend at home is also an RTO.
I believe that's correct. I don't think she ever ended up leaving play.
So this would bring Skitter up to 9.
Waiting for responses. Does she still have the popping corn in hand?
She does, but that won't do anything because of the Discord.
Oh, that's right. It's only a 4 rec to confront.
All this goes in our score case. Confront, send her home for an additional point.
All right, and this does put Skidder up to 9.
And with the AT, see, he has 4 AT left over. I might have considered moving up the other RTO as well.
Maybe?
Go up to 10.
Really try to push that limit. Do you have the AT to do it? Yeah, 2 to unfrighten.
Yeah, he had the 4 extra AT there.
And Feather still has not seen that third epiphany yet.
Does have a clipped wings though.
Starts drawing. Draws a Big Mac.
Big Mac is not a bad card to see here because she can play that off of the 3 rec.
Did she end up paying for that draw? I know she paid for the clipped wings, but I don't know if she paid for the draw.
Yeah, she did pay for the draw, yes. Paying 2 to play that Big Mac is not a bad call here at all. Especially since her friends will not get dismissed by Tarek. Thanks to the Appaloosa, of course.
Right.
Yes, it would not get the +1 counter, and it will not be dismissed.
So she will go ahead and challenge.
Well, no, she's already drawn. She's just considering about playing Big Mac to one of those T-Rex.
Ah.
Will not get dismissed. That's correct.
And Tarek won't get a 4 counter. Because it's conditional.
If you do, yes. You do not dismiss a friend.
So yeah, playing that Big Mac, who is at 4 power, cannot be dismissed.
And now Feathers is in a better position to get some of those points back. And this is what she was talking about, how that cardboard box can just shut down Applejack. That's why she's running some of these friends like Big Mac.
Yes.
Even without the cardboard loader, she's now staring at 8v5.
Right, 8v5, and if she wins, she gets to put a counter on Big Mac through the Diligent. We've been informed there are about 10 minutes left. So now is the time that if Feathers has this miraculous comeback, now is the time for it. She is 6 points behind. Feathers actually chooses. Feathers actually chooses who is dismissed.
Oh, Bugle, I'm getting flashbacks. I sense a horrible, darker time when Tarek was severely misunderstood.
He ate this.
Okay.
I mean, I would choose Pinky because it has to be the lowest because there's.
But they're all 0.
They are all 0. Frightened friends are treated as having 0 power for purposes of comparison of highest or least.
Correct.
Okay, so the frightened friends have lowest power, so perfect. Yes. So if I remember correctly, this is also.
Let's see if Ara gets this.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you are forced to choose one of the frightened friends.
Yeah, they are all frightened.
Yes. So we put Pinky in discard.
You're okay with Pinky?
Yeah.
Okay, Feathers is okay with Pinky.
My apologies. This goes home. Fine. Okay. Alright.
And I probably would have done that if I was Skidder, just to buff T-Rex and increase your odds a little
That
bit.
Discord should still be frightened, though, correct? The one that went home?
Yes, the Discord should still be frightened, so we do need to get that covered, although
Okay,
it
so
may not matter.
here's the party of 1 that we mentioned before, so it's not going to matter.
Well, it might. No. What's he going to keep?
So he's going to choose the 8 power Discord.
Oh, of course.
I think that was absolutely the correct call on Skitter's part. Now he can't... Well, he actually can't be either of those with his Discord. But he's just trying to buy some time and stay ahead. He knows there's not very much time left, and Feathers needs something. But that Discord will get eaten unless he has another friend.
Has Banish all friends in his Discord?
No, I choose one friend.
Oh, you choose one.
It stays.
Yeah. So clarifying how Party of One works.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 Pegasus tokens, and then
So if you're Feathers at this point, do you even see a way of coming back?
It's not impossible yet.
characters in play. No, you.
Oh, sorry, yeah, never mind. I forgot that it's not a fan, it's a fan.
You clone and then
There's another popping corn. Still not going to be very useful. What was that? Flim and Flam. Not particularly useful here either.
you're right. Yeah, that would get a little bit out of hand really fast with IDP.
However, you have to play it from hand. It will not drop unless you play it from hand. Yeah, it works with Chrysalis though. Wait, which card are we talking about?
Yeah, it does work with Chrysalis.
Which card are we talking about? Chrissy. Chrissy.
Yeah,
Do we have time? We're under 10 minutes now?
Yes, we're probably at about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 stacks of suitcases, Castle
6
of
minutes.
Friendship,
6 minutes. But all Skitter needs to do is not let Feather score 6 points.
Rank 3, discard to 8.
Okay.
I'm disappointing.
One that you get a card back from your It's literally resurrecting magic. Into play or into play? Oh. I'm sure, but I can't figure out, like, which card are you talking about? It costs me.
More stacks of suitcases. Stacks of suitcases.
This seems familiar to last year.
Mm-hmm.
Discord dressed up, stack of suitcases. Castle of Friendship's a little bit new.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't out last year, so... Party of One's also pretty new.
There's no reason to not play them.
Yeah,
just because they don't exist.
Mm-hmm. I've also talked with Skitter about this a little bit. He is very disappointed that Magical Misfire is going to exist.
I'm sure he is.
So now he says, you know what? 12 versus 7, I like those odds. Honestly, I would move Vinyl up there and score that. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, there it is.
You're gonna use vinyl for something.
What is this?
Alright.
Feather's still
And if he
in a good
wins,
mood.
he can get up to 4 points that turn.
Yep, that's right.
Yes, I am. That is.
Well, that's one of the things I like about these players. Even in these high-stakes matches, a lot of people are still... Like, even when they're losing, they can still have fun. That's one of the things I really like about our community. Most people are there to have fun. I mean, they want to win too, but they're mostly there to have fun.
Oh, sure.
I'm just going to play all these troublemakers. Now, that second one did cost her 4.
Oh, did you pay 3 extra?
Yeah, there you go.
She has that epiphany in hand, finally.
Maybe a hair too late.
Yeah. I think she shouldn't have played that other troublemaker. She should have moved up AJ instead. And hopefully, and hope that exhausting Discord and getting rid of the box would have been enough for her.
Ready?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Although I can also understand this, because now she's just banking on the fact that that her opponent is going to defeat Tirek.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but he would have lost the Sapphire Shores, and it would have been 7 versus 7.
Has the lowest power.
You know, so even odds, Feathers probably has a higher flip average, although I guess that would have been 4 on both sides, so that would have been a tie.
Yep.
I will exhaust vinyl for social
Mm-hmm.
Yep, score the extra points, so that's going to bring him up to 12.
Mm-hmm. And now we're going to score another point for a turn. Applebeam, you want to link to Feather's deck list? Give me just a moment.
How many points you at?
11.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be sure to link both deck lists going into the finals round as well.
I'm gonna pay
There's an RTO.
Wow. Three for RTO.
I believe that's his third.
I'll move to my start.
Yes, that is his third.
He's going to go ahead and ready.
Might as well ready her.
Confront, move home.
Up to 13.
Yep.
So now, even if Feathers beats that Troublemaker, all Skidder needs to do is move that RTO and score 2 points and be pretty happy. And again, the time limit and the score difference here.
Yeah, things just started going downhill a bit too early for Feathers to catch up.
Yeah.
Had the early game not gone so rough, I think she would have been in a better position, but having to deal with Cardboard Box for that long, as well as the F-stop with the Rolling Tones or the Yoink for 2 carbo loaders, it's just rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, she could dismiss the Prim Hemline here, but I don't think she wants to.
I will confront King Samba. Okay. I will spend 2 to play Applejack's Epiphany. Get rid of this. Okay. I will attempt to ready Applejack, but it will fail.
Well, she wouldn't pick Applejack. If there was an exhausted thing, she would have to ready that.
Correct.
But she could have also just as easily just exhausted RTO or whatever.
Sure.
Hey, and then free counters for Applejack. 4, but still not enough to win that face-off due to that Nightmare Moon flip.
Nope.
But that is Skidder's deck just saying, no, no Feathers. Just no.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't find it.
I believe we are quickly approaching time and round.
Yeah, I think that's just about to happen here.
How come both times it mattered? You flipped like Nightmare Moons. Just.
You did play an Epiphany, so this guy's...
Yes.
Yeah. Skidder reminding her the stack of suitcases is there.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it will dramatically matter.
Right.
And that'll be good
and
game.
That is game.
So Skidder's defending his turf from last year.
Skidder, are we going to see Skidder 2-time reigning champion?
He might be. He has brought his deck down to 45 cards this year.
I had that Epiphany, and I was like, I need to.
Did he?
He did. I double checked.
And then I also had popping coins, and then I was like, what order do I use?
Okay, so we're looking at Dark Jester's unorthodox blue-purple versus Skidder's unorthodox
I'm sorry. No.
pink-white.
I apologize. He did not bring his deck down to 45. Why would anyone ever do that? He's running the 53 card meta.
Yeah, I thought he was still playing 53. But yeah, so we've got Dark Jester's unorthodox blue-purple versus Skidder's unorthodox pink-white. Who do you favor?
Right here. They made this...
Not who do you want to win, who do you favor?
45, right?
Ooh. Well, let's Let me take a look
That's like 45,
at each of these
right?
deck lists again for a moment. We know what's in Skitters.
Yeah, it's about 7:30.
I'm actually... I might give the matchup to Skitters here, just because one thing that I've noticed that Dark Jester likes to try to do is to take advantage of the fact that his opponent is playing Troublemakers and trying to defeat them, and then use tricks like Prince Rutherford or Interdimensional Portal or things like that to try to frighten. And Dark Jester himself is not running any Troublemakers. And Skitters is only running 3 in the Nightmare Moons. We actually didn't even see them played this turn. All we saw were the flips. So with that option gone, it's going to come down to, more often than not, just who can confront. And while Luna's going to have the edge at the very beginning of the game, through Dark Jester's deck, Skitters is going to have the late game power through Vinyl's consistent card draw, because I don't believe that Dark Jester is running any Deep Darkness. I'd have to double check that.
No, he's not.
And
So
there's some point advantage that he can leverage through Rarity Truly Outrageous.
There's
I'd
Night
just like to
Gliders
butt in here a
on
minute.
Dark Jester's end, though.
Oh, that's true. Go ahead, Ara.
If I may butt in here for a minute, I would like to point out that both of these players are local, so this is basically just our typical Monday night for me.
So now here's the thing. You had the argument that Vinyl will have the better long game. On the other hand, Darkchester has more tricks with the portals and the Rutherfords and the Zakoras, and I don't think it'll be quite as one-sided as all of that.
Oh, I'm not saying it's going to be a one-sided fight. Not at all.
Oh wow, you fist bumped him, but not me.
Because you were talking about...
And also, Darkchester does have the Utterly Drains. You cannot forget those. Very relevant against Final.
The which one, I'm sorry?
The Utterly Drained.
This is true.
Turn off that extra card draw.
I believe there's only 2, though.
There are only 2. Not typically something you want to see in large quantities.
I do not.
And then the portals and the Rutherfords are great for getting around stacks of suitcase.
I don't know what variation you're running.
As it's called in the Dream Cavalry, I'll pay zeros, just move everything for cheap. Who cares about stacks?
That's right.
It's apparently worked.
Yeah, I think either way, it's going to be a very interesting match. And like Ara says, these guys are probably relatively familiar with each other. This is just another locals event for them. Though Skitters is going to try to defend his title here.
I'm actually glad they're rushing us out here. That means I can get Homer.
So,
What are you thinking?
Honestly, I think I very, very slightly favor Darkchester here. Very slightly, but these are both non-meta decks.
I should actually present the option to split if you want. So the prizes at stake are the Mod Rock and one of the wooden Fluttershies and a whole bunch of packs.
So the packs will be split evenly?
Okay, so they are currently discussing splitting opportunities here.
You can still play this out if you like,
Still
just
play.
for giggles. But we have...
Well, I just want to know if the packs split evenly, I'm happy to play for these, since these aren't that important. But it's something to aim for.
There are 16 of each High Magic and Equestrian Odysseys. They will be split evenly should you choose to do that.
Works for me.
So it sounds like they are splitting the packs and playing to see who gets the Fluttershy versus the Modrock.
Interesting.
The interesting little tokens.
Okay, so they're playing for the tokens, and I guess the title?
Yes, and the title, of course.
Right, okay.
Of course, Skitter already has one of those rocks from last year.
Of course.
That's not mine.
It doesn't make them not wonderful still.
So Skitter was not handed Darkchester's deck list. Little unfair.
It seems like a little bit of misdirection on the judge's part.
Okay, so Peter, I'm going to yell at you right now because you will take a game loss if these don't go back into your deck.
I would be very sad if those weren't in my deck. I'd be like, why is my deck not working?
So the banished cards did not go into Skitter's deck,
Ooh.
but the judge caught it.
And yeah, so I have enough time to get to the river hop after this. It works out really, really well.
Not, of course, that it actually matters.
Well, we have bragging rights.
Yeah.
Over each other.
We're still playing for
every
first
other.
place.
Yeah, no, this is a grudge match over Wooden Fluttershy here.
Oh boy.
So it
Fighting
looks like
over
they
Fluttershy.
both want the Fluttershy, so there is actually stake here.
Okay, so we're playing for Fluttershy. Those are some high stakes.
If I won it, would you color?
Hopefully Fluttershy isn't attached to one of them.
Color it for me?
Fluttershy, you want it painted?
Absolutely.
I built.
I can do that.
Built. I started building.
That's a lot more appealing.
Even though I mean, time was really.
So, if you're Dark Jester, what do you want your opening hand to have? Purple entry, of course. But aside from that, what do you want? Now, the Night Gliders are susceptible to the yoinks, so
Right.
maybe you want them, maybe you don't.
He's running under lock and tree. I think I'd like to see a Rutherford.
Yes.
Because with the purple entry to move up and flip the Luna, save 2 AT, wait, and potentially Night Glider and RTO if one of them comes down.
Okay, actually.
Or
Night Glider and RTO, yes. You mean Rutherford and
Ru-
RTO?
Rutherford and RTO. Rutherford and RTO, or even Rutherford, either a Prim Hemline or a Discord as soon as Dressed Up is played on them.
Right. So I think he definitely wants a Rutherford or two, or even all three. If you had all three Rutherfords in your opening hand, would you keep or would you be worried about Nightmare Moon?
And yes, I will.
Repeat the question again.
If you had all three Rutherfords in your hand, your opening hand, would you keep them or would you worry about Skitter playing a turn 1 Nightmare Moon?
Sleep schedule.
I'd keep them. I'd be bold and zesty, and I would keep them.
I guess I should draw.
High risk, high reward for days, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I can't actually get the.
absolutely.
So have we determined who's going first yet?
I'm not sure. Looks like they already may have. Or maybe they forgot.
Looks like they're drawing. I think that's a Night Glider and a Cloud Chaser, so that Cloud Chaser is going to really be relevant, I feel. He needs to combat Vinyl's extra card draw. And you can do that quite nicely with Cloud Chaser.
That is true.
Cloud Chaser is also exactly enough power to confront under lock and tree.
Yeah, getting Cloud Chaser early, very helpful.
Mm-hmm. So do you play Cloud Chaser here? Yep, he's playing Cloud Chaser here. Flip, confront. And we're 1-0. Dark Jester takes an early lead of exactly as many points as he expected to lead by.
Ooh, stacks of suitcases.
While that is problematic, I think at this early point in the game, Dark Jester isn't going to be playing multiple cards per turn, and he has the Cloud Chaser, so I don't think he's terribly worried right now.
No, but getting it down early means Skitter can use his AT investment later on the pieces that Dark Jester is playing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see stack of suitcases come down as early as possible, if I'm going to get the most use out of it. Especially because with no methods of recurring resources or recurring events on Dark Jester's side, if he's spending a special beam cannon to get rid of this, that's keeping your Discord or your Prim Hemline safe.
Mm-hmm. Still, Dark Jester's in a spot now. He's up 2 points, so he's not in a bad spot, especially with that Cloud Chaser backup. Now Vinyl flips. And still no point. So Dark Jester's going to have at least a 3-point lead here, and that's pretty substantial.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those points early on can really make a difference, as we saw. Because as soon as you can gain momentum, if you can keep it going, that's really what's going to matter.
Right. So I think Dark Jester's plan here, I mean, obviously they're more familiar with each other's decks than I am, but I think Dark Jester's plan here is get an early lead, then use my disruption to prevent my opponent from confronting. And just hold that early lead.
Yeah, I'd agree. You don't need to close. You don't need to rush the game. You don't need to try to close it out as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, and now he's going for this DFO, and I think that's not a bad call. Get rid of that very scary social obligations.
Yep.
And score 3 points.
Okay.
Score 2. 4 or 5.
If there's 2 for him pre-face-off, face-off flips to Zakora.
Now, flipping that damsel, he's not worried about that, because the only troublemakers are his own nightmare moons.
Exactly.
But losing the Zakora on on Dark Jesters is a little bit more annoying.
Definitely.
Oh, there's a Winter's coming. If he, probably not what Dark Jester wanted here, actually.
No.
And an equalist propaganda, which I think Dark Jester is actually just fine showing up.
Oh, yeah. At this point in time, with the problem that only has 1 bonus, yeah, this is what he wants to see.
Trader Pegasus.
Alright.
One of those Pegasi tokens being dismissed.
Right. Retired, but yes.
Retired, thank you. Semantics. Mechanics.
It is important.
It is important.
So Skitter has a flower in hand, so if that utterly drained does show up, Skitter does not care.
Yep. Think
Was
he'll
that
leave
2
it?
flowers?
Might be. That might be.
He might. No, that's a dressed up.
Yeah,
Okay.
dressed up.
And there's a cardboard box. I don't think Skitter has a hand he's terribly pleased with at the moment.
No, especially being 5 points down. Seeing that Spitfire come
He's
out this
6
early.
points down. No, you're right. Is it only 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't the 6-point break line. Okay, yeah, 5-0.
Can you make into a bobblehead?
He wants the Fluttershy as a bobblehead.
So, if you're Dark Jester and the opponent has a stacks of suitcases and you read the manual, do you just play that and hope that you don't need to play another card that turn, or do you save it for a turn that you know you don't need to play another card, or do you just treat it as +1 instead of +2?
I think it's probably the latter. I think you probably just play it as on a turn when you don't have anything else that you'd like to be playing, and just focus on moving, especially while you've got those Swift tokens that you can utilize.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's that purple.
Okay, 2 special beam cannon in your stack.
Oh, because he needed to. He needed the Luna in play for the 3rd requirement to actually stack. So unfortunately, that was the order he had to do that in.
Ah, that is a shame.
And now a utterly drained, which, as we discussed, Skitter isn't too worried about.
Right. Especially since he's
But
got
Dark
that
Jester
flower
goes
in
up
hand.
to 6. And I think he has a Rutherford in hand still, so... Do you think Skitter can win this at this point? I mean, it's obviously very early in the game, but...
He's got 6 AT banked. He'll probably use 2 of it here.
He had 8 AT banked, actually.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, he spent that too. Yeah, I think you played the dressed up. Sure.
Okay, so now he has... That's 1 point.
Discord. Okay, that'll work.
And another dressed up, and another dressed up.
And there it is. Ah, and he is going to go ahead and banish Luna.
Yes, he's... Absolutely, you absolutely should in this case.
Yep, I agree.
You get that free movement. You know you're losing this face-off.
Sure. So that's going to be 3?
6-2-3, yes.
Well, that was the kind of turn that Skitter needed.
Yeah, he could only score a maximum of 3 points while that equals propaganda was out anyway. Ooh, so now where do you put Luna, do you think?
Let's see. He's going to have how many action tokens? He's got one currently saved up, and so he'll gain
Right, he's
4.
going to gain 4, and then 1 off of Luna, so he gets 6, and Cloud Chaser, so effectively 7, and there's no stacks this turn.
Yeah, this is actually not a good problem flip for Skitter at all, seeing that 2 bonus come up when he knows that Dark Jester is going to be more than capable of DFOing. Especially with an interdimensional portal in hand.
And Rutherford.
Mm-hmm. I think you actually just go and try to move most of the stuff that's on the board. But he is going to play the portal.
Yeah, you portal Spitfire, put 2 of the tokens over there. Now you need...
Trigger the Luna.
It should not trigger the Luna.
Oh, that's right. Luna is not triggered.
And Skitter enforcing, this is a tournament.
Yep.
Playing Bonbon.
That can move Luna if he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he's still got that 3 AT banked for that Rutherford.
Mm-hmm. And he's looking at scoring 4 points this turn.
Right. Skitter has 1 action token, not enough for...
Ooh,
yeah, and there's an RTO gone. Yeah. Also a Rutherford gone.
A lot of these tokens probably going to be dismissed here.
Yes, but 4 more points for Dark Jester, bringing him up to 10. Oof.
Fire when ready. Oh, that is again not something that Skitter really wants to see right now with all those tokens in play.
Skitter does not want to see that. Well, not only that, but Dark Jester can just make that go away and not care.
In fact, he's going to have to, unless Skitter tries to move to confront.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably exactly what he's planning on doing.
So I think what's going to happen is, if Skitter tries to confront, Rutherford comes down at Fire when ready, change problems. Now Dark Jester has the potential of confronting.
I think what actually happens here is Skitter uses some AT in some form to... Well, I don't think he moves to Fire when ready now. I think he wants Dark Jester to have to be the one to pay that price.
Right. Now, Dark Jester did retire all of his tokens.
Right. Which he did. Which he did, assuming that he's going to be the one to trigger Fire when ready.
Mm-hmm. So you just flipped one of your RTOs. What do you do? Okay, so he's getting rid of Utterly Drained.
Exhaust, draw.
Draw. That was an expensive draw. It did cost him 2 to draw, but in the future, it'll pay off.
Sure.
The question is does he have that much time?
We'll have to see. He got an F-stop. I don't know what other events he has that are going to be really relevant.
I don't think he's played any events yet.
He's got more than enough color requirement for the party of 1 if he can get into 1.
Mm-hmm. That'll be relevant. So he's going to go for a point off of Pinky Epiphany, or... Okay, so... Easily a point for Skitter.
Sure.
Wait, he just put the Fashion Week on the bottom of his deck.
Let's get that corrected from one of the judges if we can. Because that should actually be in his discard pile, and he may want to try to make use of that with F-stop.
It should be the third from the bottom.
Third from bottom.
Yes. That is correct.
The remaining cards were put on the bottom in whatever order. So those are the bottom 2 cards that you left.
Yeah, they're in the
And you're okay with that order?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, cool.
And there goes the Fashion Week.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to see this copying.
Copy Spitfire.
Okay.
Put 3 tokens there.
Okay.
Odds are 0.04.
Yeah, with the point lead he has, I think that's just fine.
Sure.
I mean, I've had worse things happen in my life.
Goes up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
And he's probably perfectly comfortable slow rolling this.
Yeah. Now he might need to be a little bit worried about party of 1 here. Because he will lose all that purple.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he does only have 1 entry and then the Luna.
Yes, but he would have to reinvest in that purple, and that's probably not something he wants to do.
Oh, no, of course not. But he might just be... So now here's the question. Do you Rutherford at the end of your opponent's turn to fire when ready in order to...
I wouldn't do it. Not at this point. He won't have... He'll only have 7 AT and Cloud Chaser, and maybe he can DFO, but he's in such a good position, I wouldn't take a risky play like that.
What's the exact text on Luna's boosted side?
It's when you play a friend to a problem, you may move Luna to that problem.
Okay. So he won't be able to stack the triggers so that he can move Luna to the replaced problem if he plays Rutherford to fire.
Correct.
Fire.
Though he could stack it to cycle problems twice.
Sure.
No, I already know that. If that goes away, does he still get 2 flips? Yes. Before the flips happen, assuming I can even do that.
So in a rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes. If
This is worded in such a way that the additional flips will only happen during that 1 point in the face-off. So if this is not involved in the face-off at the point that you would naturally flip, you will not get additional flips.
So basically, I can still win now.
So he's considering Rutherfording Pinky here to save his friend.
Alright, see what happens. I'm gonna play this here, so this triggers first. No, wait, what triggers first?
He plays the Rutherford, that'll create a trigger which will happen before moving to the next stage in the face-off.
Well, there are multiple triggers that happen here.
Sure, and he'll control both of them, so he'll actually get to choose.
There are 3 triggers, actually.
What's the third one?
Luna.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. The Rutherford trigger goes into the queue. The fire when ready trigger goes into the queue.
And also the Luna trigger. Although Luna is an optional trigger, so...
So he's... Yes. So he chose Fire When Ready first to see what the problems would be, to see what he wants to... So yeah, now he must make that decision before he draws that card, correct?
This will be processed afterwards.
Okay, so the frighten.
So you may now frighten something.
Name a target, did I? Pinky.
Well, he doesn't need to name a target until the trigger resolves, so that was actually correct.
That is the end of that pre-priority wave. The next pre-priority wave comes up, and triggers that happen during that are processed, which is this. Draw a card.
Now, very, very confusing board state.
Yeah, I think that was, what, 4 or 5 triggers, something like that, all off
There
of
was
the
4
same...
triggers, one of which he did not activate.
Right.
So do we still flip?
Yes.
Okay.
You will flip 1.
I have 7.
Okay.
So Ponka won, or not Ponka, Dark Jester won the Rock Paper Scissors Shoot.
That was your turn, right?
But because Pinkie Pie was frightened, she's become a new card and is therefore not dismissed. And Dark Jester still sitting there with 2 AT, going to be up to 7 next turn, plus a Cloud Chaser.
And Cloud Chaser. And a lot of characters at home. Now, he is at 11, correct? So if he wins that face-off, he just wins.
Correct. So an interdimensional portal would help.
Can you hear me?
More friends in hand would help. Looks like he has 2 epic wins. Not going to be tremendously helpful.
No. But he has a lot of characters at home, several of which have Swift. Though only the 1 power ones.
Right. Any friend would really be very helpful for him just to be able to move that Luna up.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to have to spend 2 to either move Bonbon or Princess Luna.
So here comes another rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
This is going to be Sapphire Shores versus Luna, I'm assuming?
Well, you can't challenge Luna.
No, not Bluna. Luna.
Luna.
Yeah, Princess Luna, Wax and Wane.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And he's doing it versus Spitfire. Yeah, Dark Jester thought the same thing I did. He thought he was going after Princess Luna. Night Glider
So
for
5
2.
versus 5.
They'll flip again. 3 and 2.
So Sapphire Shores is dismissed.
Yep.
Not what Skitter was hoping for here.
Nope.
But yeah, I can see why he wanted to get rid of the Spitfire because of the possibility of Chrysalis or Portal here.
Sure. Does make sense. Looks like he does have a Night Glider in hand.
Nowhere near.
So I think we're going to see pay 2 to move Discord for a point.
Yep. That was extraordinary low for me flipping. Alright, go.
No, he's holding on to that action token.
Well, he's not going to get
Or
the
those
chance
3.
to use it, unfortunately.
Maybe.
Unless he has some kind of instant
He
speed
might
trick.
have Rolling Tones in hand. That might be why he's holding on to that 3.
Oh, that could be the case. So Exhaust Cloud Chaser, correct. Play the Night Glider, trigger, move Luna. Or play another Spitfire. Oof. Do you move Luna here? Is the question.
Not to that problem.
You can play Night
Now,
Glider.
I might have put the 3 blue critters, actually, at Crash Course. Though, I guess just simply playing a... yeah, I think I would have... Yeah, if he's going to wind up moving Luna, this winds up being correct.
It's not actually going to matter if Skitter does have the Rolling Tones in hand, because he's just going to go after whatever purple he brings over to Crash Course. Yeah,
Right.
And there it is. So he's going to choose Luna.
Right.
Right.
So that's 1 point.
I'll allow it.
Faster.
So up to 12.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So now he'll need to get 1 more purple on the board if he wants to close out the game next turn.
No, he only needs 2 purple from Bonbon. It's 3 blue, 2 purple.
Is it not the 3 and 3?
No, it is 3
Oh,
and 2.
that's Winter is Coming.
Yeah, this is Crash Course.
Ah.
And now Luna and Night Glider have Swift.
This is true. Not that that really matters with current board state.
So 12 versus 4. You're Skitter. What do you do?
You get 5 AT. If you had 1 more, I think you go for the DFO. Maybe. Probably.
He would have quite a lot of power.
Yeah, if you had 1 more, I think you go for the DFO. But with 5 AT, I think you party of 1.
If he has it.
I don't think he does.
Exhaust Final, hope to draw party of 1, play party of 1 on Discord.
That's the
pass turn.
That's the miracle.
Draw 1 more. No, draw 1 more.
Nightmare Moon's not going to be helpful. Not without a bell tower or something else.
Yeah, So now if you're Dark Jester, if you have purple entry in hand, you play that and also move Bonbon.
Correct.
And you don't care about Rolling Tones.
Correct.
No. He could Rolling Tones to Spitfire. So he would need 2 more power there. But he could just move Rutherford, for example.
Right.
He will have 5 action tokens and Spitfire. Or not Spitfire, Cloud Chaser.
Right.
So that's the ideal situation here.
This and retire to pay one less and pay one. Too tall, or tall tail,
Now that she's out, whatever that pony is called.
Well, Skitter's carefully considering his options.
Yeah, he knows this is a very crucial turn.
Yes.
Even one AT that's misspent could throw the game immediately to Dark Jester.
Right. Snips and Snails. I think he realized he must not have had the rolling tone, so he just had to hope for something.
Don't really think that's going to do it, though.
It might. He now needs 4 friends there, as well as the purple entry. Or the purple. So, pay 2 to move Bonbon, pay 3 to move the Swift friends, and he's still 1 friend short.
Unless he has something he can play in hand.
Right. If he has a Portal... Well, he can't play Portal right now.
Maybe he draws a Zakora?
Oh, the Banish from Hand Zakora?
Yeah.
Maybe. Dream Cavalry. He says, yeah, I'm just going to move 5 characters. Three, 4. He would rather move Cloud Chaser than one of the Pegasus tokens. And 1 for Bonbon. And hold on to that last one. And that's 2 points and a face-off.
Which he will
and
handily
that's
win.
4 more points.
Yep.
So, Dark Jester denies Skitter his 2 wins in a row.
I think, yep, he's hunting for that party.
Yep, that was that party one.
That was
like 12, 15 cards deep.
Yeah, we were talking about he's only running 2 of them, and that's one of the issues he'll come up to.
2 in a 53 card deck.
Alright.
So, that was a match.
That was very deep.
Yes, it was.
So, congratulations, Dark Jester, for winning Everfree Northwest's 2016 Harmony Tournament.
Congratulations indeed. You certainly earned it. You had a very unique deck. It played very well. You made some intelligent play decisions. I'm sure people would love to hear a bit about your experience.
I did.
Nice. Good.
And congratulations to all our other players, both for participating and to those who made top 8.
Hey, we have a little bit of time. Do you want to try to do an interview?
Yes, please.
We would love to do an interview.
Okay, I don't know how you feel. Okay, because you're on IRC, so you know how I feel every single day.
Well, no, I'm saying not getting the cards I need, because it happens occasionally.
Okay, Jared, you want to go on stream with him?
Oh, sorry, you're not. Can you get those cheese, please? Sure.
Yep, just voice chat.
Wyatt, give me back the...
That was rather hesitant.
I can understand.
What, to go on stream?
To be a little, yeah. I mean, some people would rather, just not quite sure they want to be on stream or not.
Wait, Jeff. I can do it, but I have to get to the vendor hall first. Yes.
Okay, sounds like Dark Jester is going to hit the vendor hall really quickly. So, in the meantime, stuff just happened here. Let's talk about it.
Sure. So go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
So, okay. So, Do you think that was just bad draws on Skitter's part, or do you think that was Darkchester knowing his opponent's deck? Why do you think Darkchester came out ahead in that deck?
I think there's a couple. I think there's a couple things that led to it. There's a Rarity Radiance. That seems okay. I think the first thing that came to mind was Darkchester just simply had better draws than Skitter did as the game continued to go along. Drawing the interdimensional portal for the Spitfire, drawing the second Spitfire when he needed it, having the Rutherford having the strong hand, and he didn't run up against the Party of One or the Nightmare Moon from Skitter.
Right.
So that definitely helped. The second thing that helped were the flips on face-offs, specifically the rock, paper, scissors, shoot that Skitter was going through. He went through 2 of them, and each time, as he mentioned on stream, his flips were actually low compared to his deck's flip average.
Correct. I mean, he is running several 1s, which is problematic, and he has a few 2s, but yeah.
That being said, though, I see what you're talking about with the numerous tricks that Darkchester has. Forgetting the interdimensional portal on Spitfire, which is just a sudden move of 6 power, it's completely tremendous. Counting Prince Rutherford as well, Zakora for extra frightening. There's all kinds of cards in Darkchester's deck that can just disrupt whatever Skitter's trying to do.
Right.
And I definitely think that as a result of all of those tricks, which Darkchester built his deck very, very well to be able to accomplish just such a thing, it gave him the edge. So, you know, hindsight being 20/20 and all that, I think you're right. I think in this case, Darkchester did have the better matchup, and I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, consistency is still key in card games. And
you think 45 cards is better than 53?
I mathematically know that 45 cards is going to lead you to be more consistent than 53 cards. You may not be able to run every single card you want to, but chances are you're going to see the cards you want to see more often. And that's really one of the toughest things to do with deck building, but one of the most key things you can learn.
So what do you think? What do you think that will come from this tournament? Do you think we're going to see some purple-blue mid-rangey decks like this in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've already seen purple-blue being a very strong 2-color combination, although the main colors have typically been swapped. I do fully expect to see purple-blue or blue-purple at some point in the future, just because there's so many great control options that are there and still allow you to have some good offensive presence. Rutherford, Night Glider, very strong cards.
Offensive presence, that's a different deck.
I see what you did there. As for pink-white, you know, we've known pink-white cards have been powerful for a while. I agree with some of the decisions that were in Skitter's deck. I think this deck, Skitter's, as well as Zipperwill, has shown the power of F-Stop.
Yes, F-Stop is an incredibly powerful card. We saw 6 in the top 8 here.
Yep.
At 1st seed and 8th seed. And as we mentioned before, Ponka was actually not looking forward to that matchup. And it sounds like the initial draws, looking at IRC, Skitter drew ideally and Ponka drew the inverse of ideally.
Understood.
And so he just... It was unfortunately, it sounded like a non-game, which is really unfortunate to see in a top 8 match. But they do happen in TCGs. It's
and that's
it's a thing that happens.
Yeah, and that comes down to, you know, again, deck construction. You want to try to avoid any kind of list that lends itself to that behavior. It's why you see people saying you should have a minimum of 6 entry methods, if not more, in your deck. It's why you say if you're going to be running Troublemakers, you want to be running over 9. You know,
right?
That consistency comes down to what we're talking about. As for other things we've seen over the course of the tournament, Applejack is still strong. I think people already were aware of that. So I don't expect to see her change a whole lot, although we might see more decks favoring the build that Feathers was using with the additional friends compared to all the extra event flips.
Right, the additional friends and the additional troublemakers. 18 is more than you typically see. Mostly I see 15 or 12 troublemaker deck lists.
Right. Well,
for orange specifically.
Right, for orange farming. If you're playing control, you can run a little bit lighter than that, but for farming, you're going to want about a third of your deck to be troublemakers. Outside of that, I don't know if we saw anything that's going to be completely meta redefining. We did see in Harmony in the first day a few decks that were using Bluna alongside White with Rarity Truly Outrageous that seemed to have some success doing that. And the inclusion of some blue-white cards in set 7, I think, is really going to make people excited for that.
You mean like literally every single blue-white card we've seen except possibly Sven Gallop?
Yes.
Like,
yes,
Sven Gallop is still actually a rather reasonable card on his own, just doesn't lead to the aggro strategy all of the other blue-white cards have suggested.
Correct.
Hey there, live from the floor. We have a couple of time-sensitive things to take care of for our winners. I need to go get them some credit from the con, and after we do that, I will see what we can do about interviews. I believe both Skitter and Dark Jester are willing to do so.
Okay, what are we looking at time-wise?
Yes, how long do we need to stall?
I don't know. It's hopefully less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Apologies to everyone watching.
That's fine. So, what do you think this tournament holds as far as the future of the game in the immediate future of the game?
You mean between now and set 7?
Yeah, let's go.
Or do you mean even post set 7?
I mean even post set 7. We've obviously seen some new card interactions here.
I think on stream we have demonstrated the absolute power of f-stop and just event recursion. I think we're going to see more f-stop decks in the future. The more cards that are printed, the better f-stop gets, especially since most of the traditional forms of removal don't hit him or are just very expensive. Your party bomb is probably your best answer to him that you will see early. But on the other hand, if you're playing f-stop with event recursion, it does take a turn to get to that party bomb's 1 counter, so you can just go, okay, I'll bring back Beaver and then blow up your party bomb and I'm safe again. F-stop can't be yoinked. F-stop can't is difficult to rock, paper, scissors, shoot because you need your own 1-power friend. So F-stop is a very, very powerful card, and I think we're going to see a lot more of him.
Okay.
I'm hopeful we'll see some more Zipper Will decks, but the one that's was displayed on camera was a very, very complex deck. This is it's a very powerful deck, but it's also a very difficult deck to know how to pilot. You've got all of these triggers, all of these decisions. As Ponka mentioned yesterday, there's a lot of overwhelming information. So some of our more advanced players might try and play something at that level of complexity, but perhaps some of the more intermediate players would like to play a Zipper Will deck without the white, for example.
How well do you think something like that's going to function in the Harmony format, though? Even your block was splashing photo finish.
Yes. Well, maybe a minor splash for photo finish, but that's not nearly as complex as the major splash that I had in the Harmony deck. But yes, the Zipper Will deck does need a finisher, and you don't have that in purple-yellow, so you would probably need to splash a little bit of white for photo finish. Let's see, what else? Final, still very powerful. I'm honestly surprised at how underrepresented she was. Maybe people were just so afraid of how highly she was represented at BabsCon that they were afraid everyone was going to run Deep Darkness and didn't want to play her. Or maybe it's just a lot of the local meta doesn't play Vinyl, from what I understand.
Yeah, that could be the case. We talk about that when we refer to regionals and convention events. It's great to see what some new people are doing, especially to get a bit more of a view of other larger groups before we get to events like Continentals. But it doesn't always necessarily mean that is representative of the national meta as a whole.
Correct.
In California, there's a bunch of Pile players. I know in Colorado there's a bunch of Pile players. We saw.
No, there are actually not.
Or there's a few specific ones.
The two people who played Pile hate Pile. They just thought that it was the best deck they could possibly play, so they played it in regionals and do not want to play it again.
Fair enough. There are a good number of Octavia players that we see here, and Bluna aggro has been strong, but I know that there are some areas where Applejack is just completely dominant, and there's other areas where people try to force combo, like One Step, or whatever else is available. So it's tricky to infer from just a convention rather than a global tournament what it's going to mean for the meta.
That being said, seeing all these traditional Applejack decks fall to these non-traditional decks, the Zipperwill deck, the Skitters deck, and the Dark Jester's deck, all three of these did very well against Applejack decks, which has been played across the nation. That is one of the standards. I'd say Applejack, Bluna, and TTS Control are probably the three most played decks, and seeing three non-standard decks beat those decks is very interesting to me. Yep. And I think that a lot of our viewers also find that interesting. I know the human condition likes rooting for the underdog, so seeing these non-traditional decks beat these traditional decks, we might see a meta shift here.
I think this is actually representative of there having been a meta shift towards these Applejack decks, and the reason why she had been so dominant before is people were so sick of Mod that they stopped playing Mod when other decks became available. Then when it was discovered that Applejack was basically just a better version of Mod, she came back in force, was dominating regionals left and right across the country, and people weren't really prepared for it. Now that we've had people who have built decks specifically to try to deal with this meta, as the metas have become more visible through events like Commentary as Magic or streaming of other tournaments, we can see tools obviously being included to deal with that type of deck specifically, and Applejack can't bank on just its anonymity.
Yes.
The best example I can give for something like this is when people were running a tremendous number of Yellow Parasprite back in Premiere, and as soon as Canterlot came out, an Applejack Element of Honesty became a thing. The people who started including Element of Honesty in their decks started becoming so numerous in response to the Yellow Parasprite and Nightmare Moon Force discard that eventually those decks faded out of favor for some period of time.
Right. But now people aren't running the the Element of Honesty, which is why I like running Yellow Parasprite again and catching people unawares.
Right, exactly. It's all cyclical. As more cards fall into favor, other cards will fall out of favor for a period of time, and this will rotate as these cards go in and out and in and out.
So if Gen Con was tomorrow, that means no set 7.
Right.
What kind of deck would you build?
If Gen Con was tomorrow?
Or let's say in a week, so people have time to prepare from what they saw today.
And we have no set 7?
And no set 7. Would you just go with your purple pink?
As much as I would be tempted to, I'm not sure. I might play Pile. If set 7 is not available, I might play Pile. But I might also just go with the purple-pink for two main reasons. Number one, through the use of its meticulous and card draw and filtering, there are a large number of tools it can find in its deck with relative ease. Very much like your Zipperwill deck, it's running quite a few doubles. And it does that not because it doesn't necessarily want to see those cards, but it does it because it wants to be able to have more options, and it values that over that consistency in that specific card. In addition, and this is the big thing that my deck has, its flip average is obscene. Its flip average, before any inclusions from set 7, is 4.89.
That is pretty high.
And the best part is, it's not really giving anything up to get to that point. It's not making sacrifices to artificially inflate flip average. It just so happens that all the cards that this type of deck wants to play have that high flip. There are no friends in the deck that have a cost or power of 2 or less. Everything is at 3. And by using chaos control or chaos manipulation through Discord Spirit of Chaos along with Trixie, you can actually have a pretty good chance of not only farming your own troublemakers efficiently, but also standing up against Applejack with cards like I Just Can't Decide and Cardboard Box.
Yeah. Now, I actually would also want to play my own little rogue deck, which would be a purple-blue control deck.
Okay.
But just because it has a few little tricks to deal with Pile in non-conventional ways that I don't think Pile players have anticipated. And I am still of the opinion right now that Pile is probably the best deck in the format. And something that can handle Pile, surprising them, and still also handle other decks fairly well. Like being purple, I have a good matchup against Applejack kind of thing. That is the kind of deck that I would go for right now.
Do we want to actually link these in chat so people can see what we're talking about? Because we never actually got to saw these lists, or to show these lists.
My purple-blue deck right now, I still would like to keep under wraps because it has a very specific trick. But if you want to give out your pink-purple, I go for it.
Sure, it's an almost identical version to what I ran at Regionals with a few more inclusions of Cardboard Box. That is affectionately known as a series of unfortunate events.
Yes.
So how about them ponies?
How about them ponies? So I think Feathers left her mat behind. And Darkjester was just playing on that. Or did Darkjester put his mat on top of that?
I am not sure. I think Darkjester may have put his mat on top, but it looks like there's another one underneath that as well.
Yeah, that's the basic one. Yeah, so that's Feathers one that we're looking at right now. The Keurig conquering everything.
Sold out of arenas. Yeah, I saw that. That's great. They sold out of shirts like yesterday.
Yeah, I would have gotten a shirt, but whatever.
How about you, Chet? What did you like seeing most from this tournament so far? Well, I say so far. The tournament's wrapped up nicely. What did you like seeing most from the weekend overall?
Yes, out of the 16 rounds that we have broadcast.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Man, 16 is a lot of... Like, how many people do you think... Well, obviously not very many people played all 16 because only Skitter and Darkjester had the potential to do that. Uh-oh, there's a pony.
Many ponies.
Ponies. So, is this Skitter returning? Yeah, it looks like Skitter is going to open more packs. Wonder if we can get him on camera now while we're waiting for Darkjester.
That might be nice. I don't know if we have anyone listening.
Yeah. I'll continue entertaining.
I can't mouse. How does your mouse work?
Yo, bro, Dubai was lit. I was like,
Did you buy anything else in Dubai?
did I buy anything else? I buy like billions of strippers,
Okay,
man.
apologies for that. I will get the headset set up on the other computer and have Skitter available for interview shortly.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Skitter appears to be only interested in the rarities of R or higher. Maybe he'll make an exception for orange if he pulls one.
Orange is pretty fun.
Well, and also more rare than rares. Despite being uncommon. That is Party for Moondancer. So, Party for Moondancer is a card that I think a lot of people look at and dismiss because, like, I need 4 characters there to get 1 AT.
Absolutely not. In orange or in yellow, purple,
But
that's what those colors are built for.
Exactly. They can make a fair number of characters fairly easily, and then you're just gaining AT every turn as long as the opponent can't get rid of that problem. So anything that gives you repeated AT is worth looking at, even if it might be slightly difficult to confront.
Radiance and DJ and Octavia.
Oh, the singular.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your Zipperwheel deck is actually leveraging that problem to its advantage as well.
Yes, yes. I Zipperwheel and as many puppies as you can make will confront that fairly handily. Or Snex, as the case may be.
Exactly.
I'm very glad I didn't try to put this on with the crystal because that would not work. Wait, what? Oh yeah. Yeah, that doesn't work. Not gonna work.
So, So there's Party Hard. So Party Hard is an interesting card. I actually think it's a very powerful card. I just don't know where to use it. Like, you can draw a lot for 1 AT off of that and make the opponent discard their hand. That's very relevant.
Oh yeah, I looked at doing that with Party Favor for a while and was trying to figure out some kind of a combo with it. I probably spent 2 or 3 days focusing around that card and just couldn't quite find it yet.
Yeah, I considered throwing a single copy in one step, but it's not a friend, so it actually doesn't help the deck.
Right.
What?
No strippers.
No, man.
Napcakes is a pretty solid card. Moving Mirror is still... So Moving Mirror is actually a card that I'm surprised hasn't entered the meta. Not only is she 2 power for 1 cost, she is repeatable removal and gets rid of some very nasty threats.
She can be. Requires exhausting her to use, correct?
Yeah, well, you've
got to have the top deck, right?
You pay 1 to put a +1 counter on an opponent's friend.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And you can also pay 1 in exhaust that if it has 4 or more, you can retire it. Or dismiss it. So that's 2 AT to get rid of 3 power friends, 1 AT to get rid of 4 or more power friends. That's rather reasonable rate. I used her to great fun in my Equestrian Odysseys pre-release, where I managed to pull 2 of her.
Hello. Okay, excellent. I have the headset set up. Windows Update was deciding to make this take forever.
Oh, I was wondering.
All right. Well, Skitter's got to open his last pack here. Got to get that one last one in.
Oh, okay.
Good question, Applebean. Let me go read the card.
Testing. Hello.
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 Okay, there we go.
So,
Hello.
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 Congratulations on making it to top 8, Skitter. And top 2, no less.
Yeah. As usual, I wasn't expecting to quite make it this far, but I like my deck. It does well, so that's cool.
Yeah. Tell us about your fascination with the number 53.
It's really weird. With all the testing I've done, it is like, if I have less than that, I don't feel like I have enough options. I just lose to random things that I have no idea. And if I have any more than, like, I've tested 54 before and it kind of works, but as soon as I hit 55, the deck just completely falls apart. So my weird little hybrid thing just has a happy little zone of 53 cards, and it just kind of works at that stage.
If it's working for you, right?
Yep.
So, your experience with the tournament overall, obviously your deck did very well. What do you think your most favorable matchups were?
Favorable? Ugh. See, I played nothing except for the first round of top 8. I played nothing but AJ and Luna against them, and those are two matchups that I feel my deck has a sort of difficult time with, actually, just because if I don't get my cardboard box, I really can't do anything to AJ, and Luna, with all of the movement stuff, is a little hard for me to just lock down enough for me to do my thing.
Understood. What was your goal going into the final match here? You knew what you were up against. You knew Dark Jester's deck list. What were you hoping to see in your opening hand?
I was hoping to see my party of ones, but as you saw, that did not happen. And those were just in the very bottom of my deck. That was kind of unfortunate. I think my opening hand of that game was actually decent because I had my colors and everything, and then it's like, oh hey, I can play my dressed up and try to see if I can outrace it, but that didn't quite work due to Fire When Ready coming up.
Understood. Did you spot any moments in there where you think you could have made a play a little bit differently? Or do you think it mostly came down to RNG?
I think it mostly came down to that. As I said, I don't think this deck has a favorable matchup towards Luna. I specifically tweak the cards to have a better chance against AJ and kind of not accounted for how much Luna was going to be here, and just being like, okay, no, there's going to be AJ, I'll pack for that, and if I get hit by a Luna, then I'll see what I can do. I don't have the pink-white song. I'm blanking on this name, and that works a lot better against more aggro, but not against AJ, and I just decided to take it out because I was expecting to run into a lot of villain farm.
Now, the pink-white song is actually rather good against Double Diamond, but basically just Double Diamond. Because it's printed power.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's also good for getting back resources, which my deck's extremely resource heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to really enjoy it in the next set. It's coming back in, so I can just put Fernando back on the top of the deck.
Yes.
Yeah, Fernando's going to be a fun card for sure.
Oh man, I'm so looking forward to it.
So, you chose to build your deck and tool it around the AJ matchup. Was that just because you were expecting a lot of people for the convention, or do you see that a lot in your local area?
Our local area is really bizarre, as you saw from this convention, because the Trixie player goes to locals, Sokol goes to locals, so I practice against some really bizarre archetypes and not really any of the standard.
Do you think that's been more or less beneficial to you because you have more things that you're aware of? You're more aware of all of the rogue decks, for example.
Yeah, it's helpful in that because, as I said, I like having options for everything, and playing against decks that do crazy things. It makes me more aware of game state and stuff like that, which I'm still not the best on. I still make mistakes based on what my opponents have and not quite understanding what their cards do. But that's just experience.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just playing the straightforward AJ Luna stuff, it's not those decks usually don't have as many tricks as the decks I'm used to playing. It's a lot more straightforward of what they're trying to do. So I don't feel like I've been horribly cheated in not playing them, because you can look at an aggro deck and be like, oh, this is an aggro deck. I bet it's going to do aggro things, straightforward, confront problems, yada yada. But if you look at a deck list like, once again, referencing my local playgroup, the Trixie deck or Sokol's deck, or even my deck, you kind of look at it and like, what does this deck even do?
Right.
Understood. Well, if you had to pick, other than Fernando, of course, the top 3 cards you're looking forward to seeing most from set 7 so far.
Cracking the case.
Okay, sure. Makes sense. I am not surprised to hear you say that.
Super obvious, like, oh my goodness, the utility of this.
So cracking the case.
Just on that note, while I'm still thinking about it, I'm still trying to figure out how to use cracking the case as an immediate during my opponent's score phase to yoink a troublemaker to cause a face-off, so I can get more points off of that, and just seeing exactly when that would be a beneficial move. But aside from that, and obviously Fernando, what else? Those are the 2 I was like, really, really psyched against. The pink problem that lets you play your friends cheaper. I'm definitely going to be running that.
What about the one that lets you exhaust your main to put a friend into play?
Also, yes, that's more useful in some of the other side decks I'm building. Just another way to be like, oh, there's Deep Darkness on the field. What am I going to do about my pink wreck? Let me just make some tokens and get out of this.
Well, it makes sense, and it seems like your deck has been pretty well tooled for the meta. Have you actually qualified for Gen Con yet?
Actually, no, I have not. The qualifiers we had around here were back when Bulk was in full effect, and I got destroyed by a way more hard control deck than mine. And then there was another set that I couldn't make due to scheduling reasons.
Understood.
So I have not actually qualified for Gen Con yet, and right now, as much as I'd love to go, I unfortunately don't think I have the finances for it.
Understood. Well, we hope that you are able to get things together, and if that works, we'd love to see you out there at Gen Con, for those of us who will be there.
I'd love to actually meet you guys in person.
It'd be a lot of fun. I know we'd love to be there and participate and stream and do whatever else we can.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. So, in this most recent match against Dark Jester, like, obviously things weren't going your way.
No.
Like, at all.
No.
Aside from the party of ones, what would you rather have seen happen in that match?
I would have liked Pinky up, because this gives me a showdown target for Fashion
Well, you had the one. It just got frightened.
Mm-hmm. And then it was like, is it worth it to pop it back up? Because then I was down too much AT in that turn to really do anything about it. Other than that, I'll have to go back and see the stream and see if I've made any dumb mistakes, but that's usually something I don't feel I do too often. Because I've played the deck for a long time, I usually don't feel like I make too many mistakes playing my deck. I feel like the majority of my players are not understanding what my opponent's cards do all the time.
Mm-hmm. So, here's a slightly more unorthodox question. Would you consider yourself a better deck player or a better deck builder?
Oh boy. Oh man. Better is a tough question. The funny thing is between like the Timmy, Johnny, and Spike archetypes. I consider myself more of a Johnny player just because I like doing all the crazy, obnoxious, random stuff with my deck. But I can totally, turn into a Spike if I have to. I've done it on occasion in other games like Pokemon, and it's just like, all right, this time instead of having fun, I'm just gonna make a team and try to win this tournament. And lo and behold, I do really, really well. But it's more fun for me to, try out the crazy things and do the stupid stuff and be like, hey, I did this myself, instead of, being like, okay, well, this statistically will let me win the highest number of times, so I'm gonna run it.
Mm-hmm. So you prefer the deck building, but you still consider yourself a rather strong player. Is that
Yes.
what I'm taking from this? Okay.
That sounds good. Sure.
Well,
yeah, it's from coming from a background in Pokemon, the video games. I really like the number crunching and min maxing and stuff like that before the game. I enjoy the game too, obviously, but for both ponies and Pokemon, it's about an even split of what I like. Just the pre-prep is fun, but once again, just contact with the enemy, having your plans fall apart, and just having to fly by the seat of your pants is also really fun.
So, So, what was your favorite? What was your favorite deck to play against today, or not even today? Over the weekend.
Oh
Like,
boy.
where did you have the most fun?
Let's see here. Most fun. It's sheesh. It's pretty nerve-wracking overall, just because of the the higher stakes. Just because it's more recent in my memory, when I was playing Feathers, and it's like, hey, I have a board state. I can do things. My control is working. Yay! That was cool. I don't know if you heard what happened in round 1 between me and Pinkie Pie.
Yes, he says that you got the best draw. He got the worst draw. He had 3 of his 4 entry removed by a Nightmare Moon.
Yeah. So that was unfortunate. I mean, once again at the end of that game, I felt like I had good board state, and then he's like, "I'm scooping." I'm like, "But I want to play."
Well, I can understand when sometimes a game just isn't going your way.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly appreciate you willing to play on stream and take the time for the interview here with us. Have you enjoyed the con so far?
Yes. I got to go to 3 writing panels with M.A. Larson, and those are a riot. Before the tournament, I stepped in a panel just to, because they were still doing setup and stuff, and they were reading Princess Bride with the voice actors just doing, random voices. And the scene I jumped in on, it was the wine poisoning scene,
right?
And they
With
had
the Sicilian, yes.
Yes, and they had Andrea reading Pinkie Pie as
Vicini?
Yes, and then the man in black was Peter New reading as Orchard Blossom, and it was a riot.
Oh, that's pretty spectacular.
So yeah, other than playing card games for long enough to go crazy, I have been enjoying the other panels and stuff.
How many events did you participate in, or was it all of them for pony cards?
No, I didn't do the draft. I actually stuck to Harmony and Block. I did the Chaos event, and I got really lucky in the Chaos event, not because you get lucky in a Chaos event, but because I pulled another Master of Chaos Discord, so I can now put another 3rd one in my deck and not use the one I got signed by John Delancey last year.
Ah, nice.
So that will be fun. So that'll make the next revision. But yeah, let's see. I pulled a Trixie, the villain, in the block tournament, and then you can see the stuff I pulled today on the stream if it's still up.
No, it's not up anymore.
Oh,
But
no.
we did get the chance to see that, though.
We did see you pulling your packs, yes.
Yeah.
We were discussing some of the rares and stuff, like Party for Moon Dancer, which is vastly underrated.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you for taking the time to chat with us here.
Yeah, no problem. Always willing to be an entertainer.
So you think you're going to make it to the top table next year?
I sure hope so. I unfortunately have a reputation to maintain now.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
You gotta see those Fennekin sleeves. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see if maybe hopefully they'll still sell them. Otherwise I can find the Firecat, and maybe those will be out by that time.
Lytton?
Yeah.
What, you mean Shadow the Hedgehog?
It's a kitty. It's adorable.
All right. Well, good luck to you, man.
Steel.
Yes.
Yep, thank you. And as a side note, our cat's looking for Dark Jester, so hopefully we'll have him for you to interview soon.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much. Enjoy what's left of the con.
Yep. Catch you later. I'll be on IRC occasionally if people want to talk to me. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone.
No
Absolutely.
problem. Thank you.
Dark Jester is actually on his way right now.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we will wait here for just a few moments till Dark Jester comes in.
Just a little bit longer. Then glorious, glorious freedom. We don't need to talk constantly. No, we love this.
There's always next time.
There is always next time, yes. And we do love doing this. Though hopefully for me, next time I will be at BronyCon. Unless there's an event between those two things that we would like to cover. Like, say, maybe a regionals or a Star Championship? Granted, if that happens, you're probably going to be playing.
I might. I have already qualified, and you have too.
Cheese needs to get his 7th qualification, though.
No, he doesn't. So, for those of you who don't know, I harass Cheese endlessly. But I love the guy, he's a great guy. And I only harass him endlessly because we have a small, artificially formed rivalry between our two groups. And
maybe.
And it's all in good fun. We love hanging out and doing stuff at cons and all of that. But our whole goal for the rest of the tournament season is to keep Cheese from ever winning another qualification to Gen Con.
So you're just going to build anti-cheese meta. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Rochester.
Yes.
Hello.
How's it
Welcome,
going?
and congratulations on winning the Harmony tournament for Everfree Northwest.
Thank you.
How's it feel?
Well, I've been there many times.
Yep.
The tournament was fun, but I'm also on 5 hours of sleep, so I can't really get too enthusiastic. I have no energy for it.
Understood. That's that convention schedule. So, tell us a little bit about your deck decision. You obviously tried something very unique. Why Princess Luna with purple and kind of a mid-range style?
2 easy answers to that. The first would be that I always like to try unique styles of decks. I refuse to play the things like DJ Pony, Villain Farms, Combo. I don't like those things, so I try to do something different. This was a variation of a purple version I had, but Twilight Sparkle is it's very dangerous to play Twilight Sparkle against a pink deck running DJ Pony and Snips and Snails. They can just screw you over completely. So I was like, well, I'll try a Luna version. This is the first time trying it.
Brief note, Dark Jester, only hold the button down when you're talking, please. It's really noisy in the room.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Yes.
So
this was your first time using Luna as the main, this event?
Oh, no. I've used Luna many times. I've just never used Luna with this deck.
Yeah, that's what I meant. For this particular deck, that was the first time. Clearly it worked.
Apparently it did, because I didn't expect it to. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, really. I was too tired all day to really put... It's like... It's hard to
It's hard to
explain. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, we saw you 3 times on stream. The first 2 times were both against Applejack, and the third time, of course, was against Skitter in the finals. So, how do you feel your matchup was against Applejack? Obviously, you won twice, but do you think that's standard for your deck, or?
I didn't know what to expect when I played those types of decks. I knew it was a thing. Mostly I knew Scarlet's good. Sorry, Scarlet. Feathers is a really good player, and I knew it'd be a close match against her. The other player, like, he had a good deck, but he didn't know how to run it as well as some people do. Not to say he didn't know how to play the game. It's just that he seemed like he was rusty.
Mm-hmm.
And I also built it to beat Celine's deck, honestly, or I just have answers to it. Expected her to be top 8.
Oh, did Celine in fact play? We didn't know if she was in the tournament or not.
Yeah, she was. She got like 2-3 or something. I don't know.
Ah.
Yeah, if she was running mod like she was at BabsCon, I'm not surprised. I think Applejack's got the better matchup.
Yeah, I played her first round. It was like, yeah, she didn't get good draws. So
yeah, that can happen.
So you went 4-1 in the Swiss section. What did you lose to?
Last somebody went 2-3, and he had a deck similar to mine, but with zeroed out and troublemakers, and just brought them in with IDP and confronted them. And
so more control version of your deck.
Yeah, it was fortune 15 at the end, and that game I didn't draw a single. I drew 1 ITP, which got chucked by the only Nightmare Moon trigger, and then I lost. I had no Rutherfords and no Night Gliders at all. Art Zakoras either. I had nothing. It was a bad beat.
Yeah, because the games that we saw with you, those were your key cards. Those 3 cards that you just specified.
Especially if you saw the first game, I drew like almost everything I needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we may have actually seen that opponent on stream at one point. We had a deck that was similar to that. So that was interesting.
Well, we had a lot of blue-purple, but most of that was in the block. So I honestly can't remember at this point if we saw them. If we saw another blue-purple.
Yeah, the whole weekend's kind of blurring together at this point. And I'm sure it's even worse for you with only 5 hours of sleep.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to get home and sleep.
Well, we won't keep you too long then. If we were to ask, what cards, if any, are you really looking forward to from set 7?
Well, I want to play orange-purple oh, no, sorry, no, orange-blue. I want to play orange-blue. I hope they get the Rainbow Dash.
Okay.
The Ultra Rare Rainbow Dash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Expect everyone to play blue-white, but that's what everyone's saying, so I don't know.
Right. I understand the appeal of not wanting to play what the majority is playing, but on the other hand, I understand why so many people are hyped for blue-white right now. They've had crazy spoilers so far.
I haven't seen a bad card yet.
It's been looking pretty
fun.
For those color. Yeah. Well, the deck certainly did what you needed it to. It worked well. It took you to the top. You've played against some of these people before, so you had an idea of what to expect in the matchup. Have you already qualified for Gen Con for this year?
Regional.
You did in regionals?
Yes, sir.
Are you planning on going to Gen Con this year?
Oh, absolutely not. I can't afford that.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Fair enough, yes.
I mean, I can barely afford this, and I live right next to it.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Should we be expecting a primer on your deck in the near future?
I guess if you want one, but I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, I built it spur of the moment. It wasn't like I worked on it for
fair enough
days or even hours.
Okay, no problem.
Uh-huh.
Well,
I'm sure people will at least appreciate the deck list, and we will absolutely have that. I'm pretty sure Arcat's going to be making that in the next day or two.
I'm more than happy to answer questions people have when they post on the Reddit. I like the attention.
Okay. I can understand that. We can get behind that. Well, congratulations to you.
You're going to get such a post.
Huh?
Might take me a couple days, though, because, man, I'm tired. He wasn't kidding. That was like 5 hours of sleep a night.
I believe it.
Yeah, but you're also staff. You've done way more work than I have.
Yeah, well.
Okay, well, sounds like we should let you guys go home and get some sleep.
Yep.
That might still be a few more hours still, but yes.
All right. Well, congratulations again. Thank you for playing, and thank you for sharing some of the information about your deck with all the streamers watching.
Thank you so much for interviewing me.
No problem. And Ara and Tara and She's there, and everyone at Everfree who helped to put on this event, thank you so much. This is such a great opportunity for players, con-goers, commentators, everyone alike.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just glad, when we started this just under a year ago, I'm glad how many people have started tuning into these and just getting to show, admittedly only some spots of the meta, but we get to show these powerful decks to people. I know people have been inspired by our decks and our commentary, and it's great seeing the community grow from stuff like this. So the fact that we've been doing this for almost a year now, and how much we have, I don't think I'm being too boastful when I say this, but how much that I think that we've actually helped the community. It's great seeing this kind of thing.
Right, and the fact that we've, it's important to recognize that the stuff that we're doing here, as much as we enjoy this, it's really for the players. It's for the community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's to help the game grow, because just like you, we played this game too, and we want to see more people getting involved. We want to see people who are currently involved getting excited and trying new things. We want to see the metagame grow and the think tank community grow even stronger, and that's exactly what Commentary is Magic is here to do. We have plans for the next year. We've been doing, if you've been watching us over the last couple of months or so, a lot more streaming content than we had in the past. We've had the possibility of some podcast segments coming up, so you may want to watch for those in the near future.
Right.
And of course, we try to have a presence at every major convention that we can, because we'd like to be able to showcase these decks that people work hard and practice with, and to build the hype around these events. If you enjoy the type of thing that we produce here, please feel free to follow us on Twitch here, so that you can keep up with all our different videos. We usually have VOD highlights going up within a few days. We also have a donation button down at the bottom. There are some costs, Bugle, like you said, that are affiliated with putting on this kind of streaming. And so anything that you feel compelled to give to help make these events the best they can, and these streaming events the best they can, is very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
We are generally using mobile connections to do streams from cons, so every little bit does help. We really do appreciate it.
With that, though, I think we'll go ahead and try to get some rest ourselves here pretty soon.
Oh yes, I am hungry.
Yeah, me too. But it's been a great time being here. It's great to be back. Hope to talk with you all very soon. Hopefully get podcast up here before we get into set 7. And of course, we'll have our usual stream analyzing the cards once we get full spoiler list. So hope you're ready for that 3-hour grind session.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, Ara's excited. I know he is.
But I like pointing out stupid interactions with stuff like Rover. That was fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Okay, so I think that's it for today, unless one of you has something left to bring up.
Ara, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'm just gonna say hail hydrate.
There you go. Keep yourself hydrated, guys. Well, with that, we will go ahead and wrap up the stream for this weekend. As always, I am Grandpaws.
I am Emperor Bugle.
And I'm Aracat. Unfortunately, Cheese is probably not listening, but we'll see you next time.
See ya, everyone.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.